Ladies and gentlemen, we are now gathered to induct the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. When we think about the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, there is obviously many things that can be said about him, being the ace of Florida, the saint of BYW, shooting with the saint, and a thing he's probably known most for in the backyard wrestling nexus. The backyard wrestling nexus, in many ways, has been a safe haven, an outlet for those across not only the nation, but around the world, and getting a chance to have their matches seen on a different platform, collaborate with others, and also the opportunity to go out there and show their skills to a different audience, to network. And some of those people we'll talk about here in a few minutes on this platform. Also, we'll talk about our guest and our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, well, finally winning that championship that he's long coveted in the FBW United States Championship. And boy, being a United States champion these days, certainly a lot of people, it's a big thing for. Look at Sean Jovi, America's resident rock star. Will Anthony Aries become the saint of U.S. backyard wrestling? Will Anthony Aries next become the ace of the United States backyard wrestling circuit? I don't know about that. We'll certainly say we'll have to maybe ask him that question in a little while. But we also think about him being a 10-time undisputed champion of the world. We also think about his time in places like SGW. That may come up. We also think about maybe that match where he wrestled his fiance, where everybody's still talking about that in the backyard wrestling circuit. But he's most notable for his wars that still, for whatever reason, go on and on and on and on, even though we think there's closure, but there'll never be closure in some way with Sam Reeves. Sam Reeves and Anthony Aries, in some ways, they're almost like once upon a time Larry and Magic, or LeBron and Steph Curry, or when we think about Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, we think about once upon a time A-Rod and Derek Jeter. We think about Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa. We think about Stone Cold and The Rock, Cody and Roman. We think about all those legendary feuds, whether it's in sports, whether it's in wrestling, whether it's been Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin if you're a hockey fan. You can go on and on and on. The list, make it up, and I'm sure Anthony Aries and Sam Reeves, in some ways, are those comparisons. But when you think about the career of Anthony Aries, it's meant so much more than inside the ring. You know, the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame is an interesting thing because in many ways, Sportswire has become the one platform that has connected those, whether they're in the backyard, whether they're in the underground, whether you're a deathmatch wrestler, whether you're a hardcore wrestler, whether you're an independent wrestler, whether you're wrestling on the ground, whether you're wrestling on a mat, whether you're wrestling on a trampoline, or whether you're wrestling on a ring. And it's in many ways the platform where all of us converge and we all get a chance to see what we bring to the table. And there's a story in everybody's story. And Anthony Aries' story has been one that has taken him from where he grew up in New York, not too far from my confines. It's taken him to Florida, taken him to Georgia, and it's taken him an opportunity to show his skills. And also alongside people like Big B, Ryan Blade, also Chris Dynamite. He's gotten a chance to showcase his skills alongside those people that have gotten a chance to tell their story in the backyard wrestling circuit for Florida Backyard Wrestling. Florida Backyard Wrestling, which has nearly 1,000 subscribers. A huge monumental milestone that they're going to get. Just like on Sportswire Radio, we're going to get to 1,000 subscribers, and we're almost there. But the facts are, Anthony Aries has done a lot in his time. He's done a lot, obviously, in collaborating, giving advice to fellow yarders, helping out with logos, mixtapes, giving the opportunity for those out there in the backyard wrestling circuit that would not have had that opportunity, to go out there and maybe meet other people, maybe go out there and work with other promotions. We've seen So many from the Backyard Wrestling Nexus, once upon a time, past, present, that have played huge roles in the Backyard Wrestling Nexus. The likes of the headline, Aaron Blaze. Aaron Blaze, also Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer. Atomic Titan, my once upon a time, my hardcore king. Jay Cal, the headshot. Jay Cal, longtime friend here on Sportswire Radio. And also current stars here. Maybe one of the biggest stars shining bright in prime time, the brightest lights, who's maybe about to do something that no yarder has maybe ever done travel wise. And Ace Reed. Ace Reed, of course, is a staple in the Backyard Wrestling Nexus. And he plays here and he calls it home, and he's proud to call it home. And he's in the leadership of the Backyard Wrestling Nexus, and he's declared that he's going to pull what Jack Delta, D'Angelo LaFlame, Aaron Blaze, Omen Black, Soldier GP, Jake Dvorak, Anthony Steele, Atomic Titan, every one of them combined have never done. And that's travel abroad, travel from the land down under to the land of opportunities. And he's in the Backyard Wrestling Nexus. We've also seen other stars from the Backyard Wrestling Nexus play a role here on Sportswire Radio, such as CJ Junt, the Alpha CJ Junt. Well, he's now just the Alpha now. Napalm, the brand new LBYW champion, who I know certainly wants to get back on the Sportswire, and I'll be sure to bring him back on the Sportswire. I know we've had a couple of scheduling conflicts. We also know the likes of the Wilster. Can never forget about the Wilster here. Boy, when you talk about this debate of young and old, I mean, the Wilster might be in great-great-grandfather stage, but we'll certainly leave that for another joke for another day. But so many from the Backyard Wrestling Nexus have gotten a chance to come on to Sportswire Radio, and we've heard their stories, and that wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for the Backyard Wrestling Nexus. You know, there's a lot of things that can be said about the career of Anthony Aries. Obviously, in ring, no question, done a lot, championships, giving people opportunities, but in many ways, that, whether he likes it or not, Anthony Arias' chapter into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame as the 84th member, the fourth member of the ninth class, is really because of the Backyard Wrestling Nexus. That has given people an opportunity, whether you agree or disagree with how the Nexus has been presented. Anthony Arias has given people an opportunity that otherwise would not have been. And we know Sportswire Radio has been the home of that the past nearly 6 years, whether it was my time covering college athletics, high school sports, whether it's been my time covering minor league baseball, whether it's been my time covering British independent wrestling, and now in the backyard, the underground wrestling circuit, where Sportswire Radio has gotten that opportunity to shine brightest in prime time on the biggest stage, and giving so many an opportunity. And who could forget about the fact that Jack Delta is in the Backyard Wrestling Nexus Hall of Fame? I mean, the Jack Delta, he's in the Backyard Wrestling Nexus Hall of Fame. Jackson Law, we just saw in Supernova 3. I mean, there are many people that have come here and are still very respected in our circuit, still have some things to do with the Nexus. So that shows you the impact. And also Shooting with the Saint, you got to see a who's who of talents, got a chance to talk about their career, their journey inside the ring and outside the ring. And yes, Sportswire has morphed into that platform, morphed into that outlet. Others have tried it. Derek the Destroyer has had his own podcast. Obviously, Ace Reed, the Wired Up podcast. There's the Nemesis Sessions with, of course, sometimes my wingman, my co-host, my cohort, the owner of ROEW, which, oh, by the way, they were in the Backyard Wrestling Nexus once upon a time. Who could forget about that? And ROEW is on their way to greatness, and they've already achieved that with Jack Delta, of course, and so many others in ROEW that are about to also take their place into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. James Taylor has had his own show, and he's, well, done things in many ways preluded to what we have on Sportswire Radio. But the facts are is that Anthony Arias has given those an opportunity, and that's really why we're here today. Yes, we're going to talk about FBW. Yes, we're going to talk about the big win over Luke Cannon. We're going to talk about Damian Prime. We're going to talk about so many other things. But ladies and gentlemen, as I go on and on and on, and I'm about to induct our newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, there's a quote that I always use most of the time, and it's from Hillbilly Tilly. Hillbilly Tilly is the only general manager into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and his line about backyard wrestlers, I truly believe fits in this case when it comes to the name of Anthony Arias, in that true yarders and true wrestlers go out there and they put their blood, sweat, and tears out there. There is no question that Anthony Aries, whether you've liked how he's done it, whether you haven't liked how he's done it, he has gone out there and done this for the true love of wrestling and put his blood, sweat, and tears out there. And that's all you can ask for at the end of the day. That's all you can ask for, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why my great honor to induct Anthony Arias as the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame and officially the 84th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame and also our fourth member in our ninth class in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. But, before I do that and I officially induct Anthony Arias, even though I've done about 158 shows in the past 108 days, I am going to give the introduction that not only is almost all of the other Hall of Famers here have gotten, but I'm going to give Anthony Arias that introduction that he should get. Because although we're not technically in prime time, we're starting prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage here, real early here, very, very soon. So I'm going to make sure that he gets that introduction. And so everybody else can hear it there. But ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to now officially do it, to officially have the honors to induct a longtime friend of Sportswire Radio, a man that has been, obviously, we've talked about here on and off for almost 2 years now. He is now the fourth member in our ninth class, and he's the 84th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give him now that Hall of Fame-like introduction in prime time, the brightest lights on the biggest stage. So with without further ado, here on the Sports Report. Number one, Gamble Sports Show. Simply put, he is the 84th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, the fourth member of our ninth class, 10-time undisputed champion. He was the host of Shooting with the Saint. He is the reigning, defending FPW United States champion. He is the ace of Florida. Anthony, the Saint of BYW. Congratulations, my friend. You're the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame.
Oh, man, that never gets old. Thank you, man. Thank you.
Well, congratulations, my friend. So as I do this all the time, I've done this now. This is the 84th one. I think about 81 or 82 of them have been one of these, although I think one or two of them I did on a podcast. I have an internet radio station here on Sportswire Radio where one of the guys was like, okay, we'll do it on my show, and it didn't quite give the introduction that I like to give here, but I will ask the question, as I always do, for every person that goes into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame to kick things off. For those that are listening and watching here in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage here on Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters, Anthony Arias, what does it mean to you now to be the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame?
Oh, man. I guess the hashtag Aries for Hoff is finally coming true. No, I think that honestly, this means the world to me because, I mean, we can't shy away from all the shit that's been happening on social media about trampoline wrestling and just everything in the community. Um, this means a lot to me, especially when, like, being a trampoline wrestler, being a backyard wrestler, and not being in the bright lights of pro wrestling, doing all of this stuff, like you said, out of the love for professional wrestling and wrestling in general, to be recognized on like a platform like this really helps validate and really helps me be, content with the journey in backyard wrestling and wrestling that I've had over the past decade. You know, and this is no biased Hall of Fame. This is not something I bought my way into, or you know a Hall of Fame spot that you've just given to me because you know you can call me a friend or something. I like you said, and you've really made it clear over the past weeks that we've been planning this, that I've earned this and I deserve this. And like I said, being on a platform like this, being recognized for what some people may make fun of, outside of the community, people make fun of me for this. People don't understand it. People like other family members, you know, some of my friends who are not in wrestling, my man, like some of my coworkers, like I get made fun of this and people don't truly understand, backyard wrestling. And for me to be recognized on this type of platform, it honestly means the fucking world to me. It almost feels like I've made it, like I've done something worth something. Um, but obviously I didn't get here. I didn't get here alone. Um, and if you don't mind, I would like to give out some shout outs, some thank
Sure,
yous.
floor is yours.
Um,
Sure.
no, man, I definitely, first of all, I have to thank you. Um, you're the man, and throughout the whole process of what's been going on social media about the drama, about the whole trampoline wrestlers getting respect and shit. Look, I mean, I don't know if you want me to sell you out, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I really appreciate you, and people need to know, dude, you're a good man. You really are, and you've helped me and given me advice throughout all this fucking shitstorm that's been going on, and you've really helped me, you know, be content and really understand like what I'm doing, even though I'm on a trampoline and I'm not in a real ring. Like I still matter, and and you really make me feel comfortable in all of this, and I really appreciate you for that. Because you've had like actual pro wrestlers on this show. You
Yeah, we
you
got
had
Dean Allmark, who was in TNA. I mean, Tarzan Duran was here a few weeks ago, and he wrestled Ken Anderson a couple weeks ago. He wrestled Jacob Fatu, who's one half of the WWE Tag
Yep.
Team Champions on SmackDown. So, yeah, I mean, it's been a really, I mean, it's been a grind. I mean, I've made it to almost to where I'd like to be in the 1,000 subs, but I understand where you're coming from. I'll let you finish in a second, but I definitely understand where you're coming from, and make people making fun. It's a grind. I mean, I had a career in politics. I thought I'd be working in, some pencil pushing job in the government. That's what I thought I would do. But, I think this is something I've done for 6 years, and that's kind of what's fell into my lap. And, I definitely sympathize with that. But, no, you definitely matter. Yes, this is the one platform. It really is all wrestling matters here. Yes, we get people from all over the place. Jimmy Controversy's been here many times. Obviously, GTS. We have RPD, who's the only person in the entire country in the UK that's won a major boxing world championship and a major wrestling world championship. The Tribal Cheese, who's just a well-known person in, you think about UK independent wrestling, vlogging. I mean, there's been a lot of people from all walks of life. Ledger Shade was here, which what a honor that was to have. Whether you're a fan of TBW or not, Ledger Shade, that was the only time he's ever done an interview. I mean, Austin G was here. Osiris is in the Hall of Fame. You're right
Oh
after
my god.
Osiris, by the way. Osiris.
Like
Yep.
that, it's so wild because like like you've been mentioned, like you, just like the list you said, you've had all of these pro wrestlers, you've had all
Jack
of these
Nelson was just
amazing.
here. He had maybe the best, I think, his most viewed interview he's ever done. He was here and he had like 20 plus people at 1 o'clock in the morning here. Aaron Blaze has, been a big staple here. We've had a lot of people
And
that have
I'm
come
not
here.
gonna lie, man, to be in this whole conversation, like, especially with guys from ESW, like you said, Osiris, Austin G. ESW is the reason why I got into backyard wrestling. Without me discovering ESW, there would be no FBW, no Anthony Aries, because when I started backyard wrestling, ESW, they weren't doing stuff on a trampoline or a makeshift ring. They were just doing it on the ground. And
But it was
back in
with
2012,
Osiris. We
yeah,
played it with Osiris.
and back in 2012, I didn't have a trampoline. I didn't have a makeshift ring, nor did I have the resources to get that stuff back in 2012 when I started backyard wrestling. So to be in the whole conversation, especially with those like SGW guys, because if I'm not mistaken, they're in the Hall of Fame too. You know, it really helps me make me feel like I've done something.
No,
And
I think, listen, I think that listen, everybody, there's a lot of people that are obviously very skilled, and there are people that, do the best that they can. But I think, as Aaron Blaze, I'll continue. I know you have some interesting history with Aaron Blaze in the Nexus, but what I will say is Aaron Blaze, hey, I think his line was perfect when he was inducted here into the Hall of Fame. Is that if you think about it, really, this is the only platform where everybody kind of just, almost comes in, whether you're in, again, the hardcore, whether you're in the underground, whether you're in the indies, whether you're in the backyard, whether you're in whatever forms of wrestling overseas. Obviously, the amount of we've still to this day, I've had more British wrestlers come on than any yarder or hardcore deathmatch underground indie guy. So if you really think about that, this is the only place. So at the end of the day, it's all wrestling matters. And you can't be all wrestling matters if you don't acknowledge everybody else. There's a lot of, great talents on the trampoline. Ace Reed is obviously from the Nexus. He's a guy that has a lot of people talking about him because of what he wants to do, he intends to do. I mean, he's got people from everywhere that are talking about him. AWL, TBW, NEW. I mean, ROEW certainly for sure. IMF. I mean, all these companies, YBW. So I think that there's no question that there is an important tool to what everybody does, whether and not being on just on a trampoline. Listen, we have the ALW guys. I want to put this out there. It's not just to me about a trampoline. We have the guys in Marion, Ohio, all legendary wrestling. They're working with Darkron and DKW, the man that hosted Summer Bash, which was born in the womb of this platform. And now we're having Backyard Havoc, born in the womb from this platform. Darkron is hosting it. He has taken on Judas, the evil angel. And obviously, I won't get into the young and old thing right now at this moment, but there is obviously that's another thing right now in the yard. There's this whole debate about young and old passing the
I
torch.
mean,
And,
shit.
so that's a whole
Sometimes I feel like I'm too old for this shit,
well,
but
that's a whole different conversation because now I'm seeing guys now that these young guys have come on this platform, by the way, from the trampoline, and they're calling out the likes of Sean Jovi and Darkron and
I
Soldier
mean,
GP, and they're calling out James Taylor. I mean, they're calling
shit,
them all
man.
out.
I mean, the goal for me is ultimately still to end up in a ring somehow, some way with my current situation. But I mean, getting back to the Hall of Fame thing, man. Um, I also feel like this Hall of Fame induction. Hey, man, I know this is an internet radio show. Some people may think it's just something so silly because of backyard wrestling, but like I really do appreciate this, and I'm taking this hella serious. And I also feel like this Hall of Fame induction is not just for me. I feel like I need to share this with other people because my journey and where I am now and being on this platform, if it wasn't for my support network, I wouldn't be here. If I didn't have, if I didn't have the guys, mainly Chris Dynamite, I love that man to death. He
Mhm.
may not be blood, but family does not have to start with blood, and it doesn't end there either. Chris Dynamite is my brother. I love him to death, and if it wasn't for him being a little kid with me and not being a wrestling fan, but saying fuck it, let's watch these how-to videos and figure out how the fuck we're gonna backyard wrestle. If it wasn't for him, you know, I wouldn't even be here. So for at first, man, I gotta thank Chris Dynamite. Shout out to him. I gotta thank the SGW guys.
Yes.
They they're family too, man. FBW will always be my main family, my first love. that whole situation, but SGW is it's my second family, and I gotta thank them because I I think that when I traveled to SGW and I did my run, my year-long run in SGW, I really think that that helped cement my legacy and what I have to offer to the backyard wrestling community because no longer was I booking and running my own show. I went to SGW, a whole new management team. I had, um, I didn't have no influence there. I mean, sure, I had, I guess, my quote unquote star power, whatever you want to say it, but um, going out of state, proving myself with a whole new group of,
Not a
wrestlers
big
and stuff.
deal. No, listen, going to another state, I know that it's not easy for everybody to make the jump. Some people have done, like I said in my speech, Jack Delter has done it, Aaron Blaze has done it. I know Jake Dvorak has done it recently.
And
I
I
know
mean, man, you know how much shit I've gotten for, being an FBW because I'm the booker. I'm the booker, and because every time I win a title, oh, he's just won a title because he's the booker, he's the owner, so that's why he's champ. But going to SGW, and proving myself and putting myself on the map, I really think that helped. And another thank you I want to give, and he's also another reason I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. And he's gonna hate me. He's probably
I
gonna
know where it's
joke.
going. Go ahead.
He's gonna joke around with me, and I don't know if you know where I'm going with this, but it's gonna come to a shock 'cause it's not Sam Reeves, even though I love Sam Reeves to death.
Mhm.
And um, but no, he's gonna give me shit for this because I know how much he loves, the art of his work and protecting kayfabe. But it's CJ Black.
Oh wow.
Um,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, no, CJ Black, man,
He was
he's
in the Nexus, by the way. He was a Nexus
yeah,
member. We
I
know.
mean, we had a little rocky start because his passion really comes off strong, but I've had the complete honor to get to know him outside of the character, and I don't think too many people know him outside of the character because he likes to troll
Yeah, I don't know him.
online
I
and
don't know
stuff.
much about any of the characters that come on this platform. I know nothing.
No, but man, no, CJ Black, nah, he's honestly given me such valuable advice and tips. Like, after all the shit that's been going on with the trampoline versus ring bullshit, which then again, statement right here, it's never been trampoline versus ring. It was just about getting trampoline people to be
Although right
respected.
now there are trampoline wrestlers that have called out the likes of Sean Jovi and Craven Rage, and they've had their own battles right now with Nicholas Crenson, and they've declared war. I mean, so to be fair, I mean, there are trampoline wrestlers right now in the Midwest that they've declared war. They have declared war on WCE, and they've declared war on these Midwest backyard wrestling stalwarts.
Look, man, I mean,
And you wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame without WCE, some would say, because 2+ years ago, they were the first backyard wrestling company to come on to Sportswire Radio. I mean, I was doing British wrestling, really, and that was what I was doing. I mean, a handful of independent wrestlers. I mean, I had them come on, here and there, but really, WC and these guys, these trampoliners from Illinois, somewhere
hey,
near
man, look,
Peoria, Illinois, they're going off on WC. They want to put the nail in the coffin to WC. I mean, who knows? I mean, could they be going after IMF next? Could they be going after DKW? They could be going after ROEW, XCW. Some people wouldn't be too happy, too feel too bad about that, but they could go after anybody. I mean, these guys, these young kids, they're on the trampoline and they've declared war on these guys in WCE. So to be fair, there are trampoliners that they're on the offense
I
right now.
mean, obviously, trampoline versus ring is no discussion, and it's never been a discussion, at least what I've started. But
Well,
no,
these
I mean,
guys though are different. These guys,
yeah, like being on a trampoline, we still work hard. Personally, I know I bust my ass. I sacrifice and I put a lot of time into it. But no, like I was saying, CJ Black, he's given me so much valuable advice, and during all the whole situation, besides you, he was one of the guys that I went to, you know, to get advice and tips from, and
I appreciate that.
um, and he's given me advice, and tips, about wrestling on the ground and wrestling on the trampoline and stuff because Because I mean, let's be honest, CJ Black, man, in my eyes, in my opinion, whatever it's worth, he probably has to be one of the best backyard, if not the best
Well,
backyard
we
wrestler.
say, well, I think I say it all the time, and this is a separate discussion from underground, but in the backyard circuit, I think most people know at this point ROEW is obviously one of my favorite, companies out there. So when I think
I
about
mean, man, he's probably gonna fucking troll me on Instagram after all this bullshit. But no, I mean, like on a for real note, I gotta thank CJ for all of the advice and tips that I still carry when every time I go out and film FBW. And if it wasn't for him giving me some tips and advice that shit, because that man's good as, if not better than some pro wrestlers out there. And also I see fucking what's his name, Jake Dovrak from
Dvorak.
NEW.
Dvorak.
We kind of got at it with the whole little situation, but
Well,
I'm
I
glad that
kind of, to break the fourth wall, gave you some advice in the fact that one of the individuals you named doesn't work in his promotion.
yeah,
So,
which I've apologized, and I mean no disrespect to NEW, and I'm glad that me and Jake got to a little understanding.
and
Um,
Jake is a very good man because actually, which is why I kind of gave you some advice on that, is because he was here last week and he actually talked about that he just wants to wrestle and be happy. And his promotion, they come on here and their guys, honestly, they're like some of the nicest people. They kill each other in the ring. They have a show coming up at 6 o'clock. Please go to their YouTube page and check it out. It's their go home show before their next show coming up. But I mean, what those guys do in the ring, trust me, what they do in the ring, but outside the ring, they're all come on here and they're all down to earth people. They're all, kind of what this platform is, and they fit in so nicely. So, that's why when I was talking to you, I said the one individual who I'm going to leave out for a few minutes, but because I like him a lot, he's coming onto my platform very soon. Again, is that he doesn't work there for him, and those guys, a lot of those guys also work in the independents. So you got to look at some
nah,
of like,
man, I guess since now it's out in the air. No, I mean, I guess might as well say some stuff about it as I'm in like a clear like space without no, people trying to shut me down. No, I just felt that I mean, sure, trampoline, however you want to view it, whether you think it's a joke or not. I mean, I just think that on a trampoline, we still work hard. I mean,
well, we
we're,
and
we're
we have the guys in BTW. Jacob Frost is here. I
I mean,
know, and yeah,
and
a
like
lot of
however
guys.
and however you want to put it. I mean, shit. I mean, wrestling is wrestling. There's
Yep.
no safe way of putting it. Like on a trampoline, yeah, it's not made out of wood and fucking steel and bullshit, but you can still risk getting concussions and whiplash. And I'm not trying to argue, obviously, that trampoline is somehow like a more of a risk factor than ring, but risks are still there. So like I just felt that there should be some respect on trampoline guys for what trampoline people do.
And I think that's what these guys in Illinois have been saying in STBW. They feel that the Midwest, that they've been carrying the torch in the backyard circuit. They feel that companies like WCE and maybe companies like DKW, IMF, that they're past their primes and that it's time to let the young guys. That's what they've been saying. I mean, they've been saying more or less what they've unexpectedly. I didn't even know this was going on here these past few days, but we've seen these kids. I mean, kids that could be the stars of FBW and SGW, and they've come in here and they've declared war on guys in the ring who have this big fancy ring and have all these big fancy interviews on Sportswire, and they've declared war on them. So I mean,
And
the
I mean,
trampoliners are
shit,
fighting
man.
back. They're fighting. The trampoline wrestlers are fighting back on Sportswire.
I
I mean,
mean,
we've seen it. Tyler Fury, Nolan Money McDermott, Dalton the Executioner. They have now decided that they are declaring war against these seasoned ring veterans, these seasoned yarders like Sean Jovi, Jonathan the Executioner Pierce, Nicholas Crenson, Mr. Brightside, and Craven Raid. So there you go.
and it also stems back to like trampoline wrestling and ground wrestling are the two forms that backyard wrestling was ultimately like built upon. I mean, if we look back in the day, it was like trampoline and ground. Like all of these federations coming up, like having rings is a fairly new like trend. But and it also stems to like the backyard wrestling nexus. I just want everybody to get along and like respect. Like everybody works hard, whether you're
No,
on the
I've
ground, the
always said the
trampoline, the
Nexus.
ring.
I've always said the Nexus is an important tool in terms of letting people collaborate. You know, Titan was in the Nexus, Blaze was in the Nexus. I mean, there's a lot of people that have been in the Nexus. Jackson Law has been in the Nexus. There's a lot of people that have been in the Nexus over the years. So there's no question that those things are very important. And I'm obviously happy to have you here in the Hall of Fame. We're very happy to have you. I will present to you a certificate shortly in a few minutes, but I think it's a good time for me to let the chat come in because we do have a big crowd tonight. And I figured we'd have a big crowd because obviously you
Yeah, let's
obviously
react to some comments.
well, you got some comments. You got Friday. It's also Labor Day weekend. People are getting excited. NEW is going to start in a little while. You got ROEW. You got a lot of stuff here. But also, yes, hello there, Zilla. We respect him. Omen Black, the boogeyman of the Midwest. It is his show after all. Obviously, I am trying to get fired from this platform. I am obviously trying to retire and pass the torch because I actually do want to pass the torch. Maybe I'll pass the torch.
Actually, real quick, I'd like to apologize to Omen Black because
Oh,
he
why?
um I barely know him, but he asked to
Okay.
be on my Shooting with the Saint podcast like a year or so ago, and like
He
my
did?
like yeah, but like I just never got to it because I'm not
Oh.
gonna lie, I'm an introvert, so like I don't like talking to new people like that, so I kind of just like blew him off. I'm sorry, but I mean
This
ultimately
is
the
the
Shooting
wrong
with the
guy to
Saint.
blow off. Yeah, this is him and
I
Jake the
mean
Shark,
the
guys you
Shooting
don't
with
want
the
to blow
Saint
off.
podcast ultimately like shit. When was my last episode? Like I mean
Was it Jake Howell? Was Jake Howell your last one?
yeah, actually yeah. I'm actually little announcement here. I'm
Yes.
trying to revive it for maybe like one night only, possibly. Because let's be honest, I'm gonna do a new episode and like just fall off again. But I'm gonna try to get ATK on. That'll be my like next episode.
Yeah, ATK is a big topic. He's the XCW New Age champion. Obviously, a huge part of things in KTW and YBW. No question, a big rising star in the
I
back.
don't even know if Omen Blacks even remembers that, but I still
Oh,
do.
he'll remember. No, Omen will remember. He has a long memory. He definitely has a long memory. But I'll tell you what, a name you should interview who really would be a very good talker for you. Vega Storm. He was once upon a time Vega the Kid Storm. He's now got the heart of a warrior. And he's a part of Future Atlanta Pro Wrestling, which is not too far from you. And they have a show coming up next weekend. And he's got quite a story. He was obviously a protege of Copper Dragon once upon a time. And he has had wars with the who's who of people out there in the backyard wrestling circuit in the great state of Georgia, a state you know very well. And he says he's this here, and he would be a guy you would definitely have a really good time interviewing because he's got a great history in the backyard wrestling circuit in the South. So that would be my recommendation. A man that for now is calling you an old friend, but I'm sure when we see the next FBW show, we'll be calling you an old enemy. But that is Mr. Sam Reeves. How you doing, Sam? And Aries is champ. Yes, he is the champ. And I also want to say you're actually the 87th member of the Hall of Fame. Sorry, I forgot one, but that's okay. I got the new certificate for you. Don't worry about that. I took care of that. CJ Black's in the house. He's obviously getting ready for ROEW's Friday Night Face Off to take place here in a little while. And it's kind of almost an unofficial pre-show to that. And he says Team Reeves. He's Team Reeves all the way.
Love you too, man.
But he's definitely, I'll tell you who he's not team of. He's definitely not team Jacob Collins. That's for sure. He's
Let's
definitely
be
not
honest,
team
he's
Jacob
Team
Collins.
Aries, but I'll let that
Well,
slide.
I'm going to say he's definitely not team Jacob Collins. That's for sure. That's an ROEW. And he's definitely not team James Taylor because he and James Taylor, who, by the way, is in your chair Sunday. That's for sure. The good guy gets it. We'll have to see. Our friends in the state, the trampoliners, the guys that they have been just declaring war on people in WCE and everywhere. They're just these young degenerates who want to put the nail in the coffin to WCE. And if they succeed in that, they could be going everywhere. Who knows? I mean,
I come to Florida. We'll
well,
test
they're
your
in
skills.
Illinois.
Feel the curse of Aries.
Well, you know what? It's the backyard brawl. It seems like it's going to be a matter of how does WCE respond to this? I mean, WCE. I mean, they're an institution on this platform, and this is, I think, their history, their company is being threatened. It's not even within anymore. It's outside trampoliners. They're looking at trampoline on WCE. And if they succeed at WCE, they're going everywhere. I mean, GBW could even be in trouble if these guys have their way. They're determined. This kid, Nolan Money McDermott, he's 6'3". Tyler Fury, he's already wrestled in the IMF. Dalton the Executioner, he's an executioner, for crying out loud. These guys, if they get their way with Sean Jovi and Craven Rage and Jonathan Pierce, oh my God.
Collaboration is key. Collaboration is key.
Well, these guys
Getting
want to kill
companies
people.
together.
They
I mean, ultimately, getting into promotional wars and stuff, just regardless of the battle scars,
I think,
benefits
you know what?
everybody.
I hate to say it. People have been talking about Putin and Zelensky right now. I think that if you have Putin and Kim Jong-un right now and the backyard wrestling circuit right now when it comes to what we're seeing. I mean, you talk about Hamas right now. You talk about Putin and Zelensky. I mean, right now, who knows what's in the minds of Nolan Money McDermott and Peyton the Pacemaker and Tyler Fury and Dalton the Executioner. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. I just know that these guys in STBW interrupting Sean Jovi and Icon.
I mean, how they're doing things is bringing, interest and, intrigue to all of this. So,
yeah, they're doing that.
They're getting people talking, which, hey.
But shouldn't they respect their elders? I mean, some would say that they should, respect the veterans and pay their dues. And these young kids, these kids who maybe some would say should be, at school right now, or maybe, doing their homework, or maybe doing an after-school job, or just, staying out of trouble.
Hey, I mean, like, I don't know what's going on. I don't follow too much. But hey, I mean, one, respect is earned, not given.
Yes, it's
but hey, I mean, regardless of the storylines and everything, I mean, they're getting people talking. People are,
my God,
the eyes are looking. So, and hey, I'm from the backyard wrestling next. Collaboration is key. So, I mean, how I'm looking at this, it's a win-win for all parties.
It's a big win, but I just think WC could be the big losers in this if these guys have their way.
But if we're talking storyline,
well, I mean,
ain't got to be so disrespectful. But.
I don't know. Listen, I tell you what, I'm going to leave that at that. I got a lot more comments here. Let's certainly get to it. People are just getting ready, and they're excited for Labor Day weekend. I love trampoline wrestling. It's my favorite. That's why I'm going back to it full time. There you go. I mean, ROEW going on a trampoline now is, I mean, Jack Delta once upon a time was a staple on the trampoline. So I guess the ROEW arena is now going to be trampolined and turned into an ROEW. I guess James Taylor has changed the ring there in ROEW. I guess we'll find out tonight, 6 o'clock Eastern time. Check out ROEW Backyard Wrestling. How you doing? Good to see you. Thank you very much for tuning in. I think I know who you are. Evening and afternoon, gents from Dark Crown. Of course, the man he's one of the guys that's had shots fired at him. This guy, Judas, he's not even a trampoliner. He's a ground wrestler. This guy, Judas, who doesn't even wrestle on the trampoline.
Oh, man, ground wrestling sucks.
He wrestles on the ground, and he had, some would say, the audacity to call out Dark Crown on this platform. And you know what he even did? He threw out DKW's hat in the garbage on this platform live. He pulled a Medusa years ago on Nitro in WCW. I mean, this guy, Judas, I mean, he basically had his Judas 817 moment a couple of weeks ago, and he felt that Darkron disrespected him, and he feels guys like Darkron should pass the torch to him, the evil angel Judas, and he's not even a trampoliner. I mean, it's really...
Props to ground wrestlers, man. Ground wrestling has fucked up my neck after years of falling around and bumping on the ground. I'm kind of glad I'm on
this guy Judas, he's the future of backyard wrestling, and he might be the president. And guys like Darkron, a man, an icon, an institution in the Ohio backyard wrestling circuit, a man that has been the host of Summer Bash. He is now the host once again of Backyard Havoc, and it looks like this guy Judas, I mean, he just wants to take everything away from these guys. Are just these trampoliners, these ground guys, the youth. It's the youth of the backyard nation. That's what I'm calling it. It's the youth of the backyard wrestling nation, to quote POD. And boy, does the STBW guys love seeing you here. And who knows, maybe you guys will collaborate afterwards. I'll connect.
Where's STBW located?
They're in Illinois.
Yeah, there's no way I'm traveling to that. But hey, if you guys want to travel down.
Well, I'll take care of that off the air. I'll make sure off the air we're definitely connected. That's what we do here. You're going to be a topic in a little while. You just wait right when I make the transition. I don't know you, but I appreciate you. I'm gonna come so close. Your nose is huge. Well, you know what? You're tuned in, so you know what? Really, the only one that's huge right now is me, the one with the microphone, right? And you don't want to do anything with me on the microphone, right? Because like anybody else, I mean, I'm the one guy that told Mr. Judgment, by the way, who's the DBW champion and institution. Basically, I have the mic. I'm taking over, please. And he basically, who's like 6'3", was like, okay, yeah, all right. I'm like, I've got the microphone now. So I mean,
Hey,
and I've
hey,
had a few things, and Fletch has been Fletch who's
I
been here
know I
before.
know very well stepping up to big people. Oh, Big B, 6'4".
Yeah, well, when it
Shout out
comes
to
to the
him.
microphone here on this platform, they certainly know that there's only one voice for now until I decide to pass the torch. Maybe you'll get the torch. Maybe you'll get it here every night. Yes, I'll thank you for the kind words. We're a family show. Congratulations, Anthony. I appreciate that. Thank you, Zilla, for the kind words. Congratulations in order from myself in Violence Enterprise. Enjoy it for now. For now, because when we get to the next FBW show, ain't going to be much enjoying. And to quote Big Daddy Kane, there ain't going to be ain't no half stepping from Sam Reeves and the rest of the Enterprise, especially now with Luke Cannon. Let's see here. I don't like Anthony. Yes, we're going to get to that. There is Mr. Jake Dvorak. Obviously, love seeing Jake. Jake was here last Wednesday, and I have, well, another man that has a lot to say always, Mr. D Savage. He's here tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Boy, I can't wait for D Savage. He's got a lot to say. NEW, All Wrestling Matters, Hardcore Tournament, 814 Wrestling, Independence, Boston Celtics. He might even say a thing or two with. He might talk about his man bun, but he'll be talking about a lot in the backyard, the underground, and the independent wrestling circuit. Speaking of trampoline wrestlers, by the way, who have done a hell of a job, Jacob Frost, by the way, BTW, one of, I would have to say, one of the more high quality products out there. And BTW's got the August Rush and Swift and Frost. Oh my God. I mean, I'm sure you know who Swift is. I mean, he is pound for pound one of the biggest guys in the circuit, and they're going to have their fourth match, and these guys would never be the same afterwards. And Jacob Frost is back here in a few weeks. I don't know you, but I say hi to you. Thank you for tuning in. Yes, I'm on Twitch. We actually are on Twitch, so if you actually want to go on Twitch, you can watch these shows on Twitch. I don't really say much about Twitch, but Twitch is there, and all you have to do is follow me on Twitch. Yes, we say hi to Zilla, and Jake says, Zilla, hello? James Taylor. Now, if you were to do another shooting with the Saint, the legendary James Taylor, who has 130,000 followers. He's got 88,000 on TikTok. He's got about as much.
Maybe I need to get on the Nemesis sessions.
Well, you should get on the Nemesis sessions because James Taylor does a different show than I do, and people might want to tune me out and just go back to James because he's a legend. He's got 41,000 on YouTube, 88,000 on TikTok.
You're the one inducting me into the Hall of Fame, so I'm going to stick on your side.
He's the one with the followers. I mean, I'm little old me, but yes, CJ Black is also in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and we appreciate him. Yes, hello there, Reverend and Anthony. That's Craven Rage, the man right now who has been the topic once again of the backyard wrestling circuit. He is the all-out champion. Heard about him, and now these guys in Illinois, they want to take him down. They want to put the nail in the coffin to his career. That's what they want to do. Jake has a good line here. My first traveling was back in 2015 to a trampoline fed and did 2 to 3 shows altogether. Trampoline wrestling is good if it's done right. Copper Dragon always says the same things. Trampoline wrestling is an important tool, and it is something that can help a lot of people. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Those are things I've been saying on Sportswire. I think that's why we have a lot of the everybody here come on. Screw these WC guys. Let them cook, Tom. Oh, I think talking about the guys in Peoria. Maybe. WC will never die. Well, the guys in Illinois wanted to die, so that's for sure. There's the good fella. Whoa, CJ is actually a good guy. I can't believe this stuff. It's in his name after all.
Man, dude, CJ, he really is the GOAT. And he's very clever with the good guy shit.
Well, look, that's a question you'd have to ask him and ROEW TV on, and you can watch them at 6 o'clock Eastern time. I strongly believe in my company. So does yours truly. I gave them a proclamation for 2,000 subscribers, and I think I'm putting them in the Hall of Fame at 2,500.
It's clear that I'm strong about, the Backyard Wrestling Nexus and making it a great community. Hell, that's why I created the Backyard Nexus, is because I truly want the best out of everybody.
I want to say this real quick on Jake. What Jake is kind of what he's done with the Riot in the Ring and the All Wrestling Matters Hardcore Tournament. I don't think outside of Dark Cron hosting the way he has hosted Summer Bash in the Backyard Havoc has done what Jake has done. I mean, Jake is on.
Oh,
Jake, yeah,
I mean, yeah, props to him for that. I mean, on a similar topic to that, I mean, um, I wish that one day the Nexus could host like an event like where everybody gets together. But I think something more possible on like a similar note is that, and I've been thinking about it for a while, and I don't know when or if I'm gonna pull the trigger on this, but with all of the improvements and upgrades with the Nexus that's been going around, like today before this event, we actually announced the BYWN Sportswire
yes,
partnership. The new
appreciate that.
logo, upgraded logo dropped a couple days before that. Um, I wanna possibly one day, work on a backyard wrestling title that is shared amongst, backyard wrestling members. I think that's would be really cool and, like, kind of a way to share a prize because that can float around and be seen everywhere because I don't know if we're ever gonna get to the stage, where everybody comes to one location for a collab show, but a
Well, I
BYWN
mean,
title would be
we've been
dope.
having that. We have the All Wrestling Matters Hardcore Championship. We have the All Wrestling Matters Underground World Championship. D'Angelo the Flame holds that. In the NEW arena, they're going to have the All Wrestling Matters Hardcore Tournament, which will air on NEW's programming in the next few weeks. We've got All Wrestling Matters tag team titles ahead. So there's a lot of that. And I don't know if it's because of this platform or not. Maybe some would say that. But there's a lot of good stuff ahead, and I'm excited about all of it, and I want everybody to support everybody. Just for you, Jake, I'm going to punch Swift in the head tomorrow. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, that's what Jacob Frost's comeback has all been about. Trampoline is fun. There those guys are again. Thank you. Yeah, I really love our friends in BTW, by the way. I mean, just they're all RJS. You look at Swift, you look at Storm, you look at BES, Comatose, by the way, my buddy Comatose, also in the Hall of Fame, another trampoliner. So for sure. And Craven Rage, who I guess obviously is reading the tea leaves because he knows that WC is under siege. He's saying that, you're welcome anytime. And he's
Hey,
obviously looking to recruit.
hey, man, I mean, being the saint of backyard wrestling,
The Ace of
I
Florida.
do have expertise in cleansing yards of sinners. As I mean, the whole saint started with being the Messiah of the
Yep.
yard and cleansing sinners from precious and sacred backyards. So,
Well, I mean, you know what? Listen, WCs right now, their survival is at stake right
and I've
now. And
obviously completed that mission as Messiah because I'm a saint now. So,
you are the ace of Florida, and you are now one of the aces in the Sports by Radio Hall of Fame. Thank you, Zilla, for the kind words. And anyone besides maybe a select few people who I won't name, we have 2 super shows next year in June and September. So if anyone wants to join, let me know, and I'll connect you because I'm always talking NEW, and we have Joe Star next weekend. D Savage is here tomorrow, and I think we have Hiroshima coming on here soon. So we have a lot of guys at NEW coming on here, and Jake's always here. So I can definitely take care of that. And STBW certainly says, "Hey, Craven WC, old man." They're going after. I don't even want to get into that old. Remember, dinosaurs did roam the earth. I don't want to ask you your thoughts on is there an age expiration date in backyard wrestling. I don't want to go down that road. Should guys retire at a certain age? But these guys in Illinois, they're just really like they're just hell bent on. They think guys in WCE especially should step aside. I don't know. Anyone looking for a fight, hit me up. Violence Enterprise is looking
no.
to add goal. I'll take care of that. Good enough there. Thank you, Zilla, for the kind words. STBW, we will see soon once we've been. Well, I'm not going to repeat the
Pause.
last part there. Yeah, we're pausing that because we are families. On other shows, there's a guy that has a show. His name is Silver Wolf, and they kind of have some of that language on that platform. This is a
Hey,
legitimate platform.
no weird kinks are being discussed here
Well,
during my Hall of Fame episode.
we've had Tarzan Duran and Dean Olmark on this platform. So I'm going to say that this is a little bit more of a legitimate platform. And there you go. I'm going to get to SGW. I promise you, I'm going to get to all that here very shortly. And Sean Jovi, who was here yesterday, says hello. And
Is,
Sean,
is, is he like a massive Bon Jovi fan or something?
Well, he's kind of an offspring in a way to John Bon Jovi, and he's trying to figure out his family tree. That's been one of the things on his vlog.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, well, he was yesterday's guest, and he is obviously a living legend on this platform, and he is here Sunday,
I mean,
also
shit.
3:30 p.m.
I
Eastern.
may be young as shit, but like my whole playlist is I only listen to like 70s, 80s rock. So like Bon Jovi's definitely on my playlist.
Oh, Bon Jovi's still relevant today. They put out a new album a couple of months ago, and it was
Shit,
like number
shit
5 on the
talking about
Billboard 200.
talking about that shit. Right, real quick, shout out Billy Joel. He's the goat. That's my
He
artist.
just did the Madison Square Garden run not too far from me. All the sellouts. He did all the
Hey,
shows.
I'm
Amazing.
waiting for him to release one more album. He released that one
Uh,
song. He
I'm not a
released that
Billy
one
Joel
song.
guy, but I don't think they'll do albums anymore. A lot of these artists really they don't because people don't buy
I saw
music.
him discuss it, but man, Billy Joel, he's the GOAT. And you know, come on, New Yorker to New Yorker, we all know Billy Joel is the GOAT.
I
He's the
gotta be honest. I'm not a big Billy
don't
Joel.
sell out. Don't sell
I'm
out.
not a big. I'm
I'm
more
leaving.
of a
I'm
rock
leaving.
guy. I'm more of an aggressive. I need aggression, but yeah, I respect what he's done. But Bon Jovi's definitely somebody. I like Bon Jovi a little more than Billy Joel. I have to
Come
be
on.
honest. But
Come on.
well, Bon Jovi is actually from Sayreville, New Jersey, which is actually more closer to where I grew up than where Billy Joel is from, which is from Long Island. I grew up in Brooklyn, which was a lot closer to Sayreville. But let me get to more comments. People don't want to hear me talk about Bon Jovi. Jovi remembers dinosaurs. Time's up. See, I told you there's a time's up thing. There's a couple of titles like that. Comatose holds and yeah, he holds the interpromotional title, and he's looking to travel. Yes,
And
Comatose.
you know, since I've already brought it up into the ether about the backyard wrestling title, I think that a cool name for that title would be like the BYWN Supernova title, because I think Supernova
It's been
and
the
that
main
whole
go home shows to every summer. We have them. We've had 3 of them now. Yeah, I think that's the
and I mean I
BYWN
think
title.
that would be an also like another good way in paying homage to Shondell Holiday,
Yes.
because I mean really if it wasn't for um Shondell, I mean collab shows wouldn't be like a
And
popular thing.
I know Jackson Law. There's a lot of people that have a lot of opinions about Jackson Law. He's been. I like Law, but Law.
We've had our ups and downs.
But a lot of people that listen. I'm gonna be honest. A lot of people in this platform despise him. I like Law, but there's a lot of people that despise him in some ways. But I thought he did a very classy thing. He talked about Shondell here. He did a good thing in Supernova 3. I like Law,
I mean
but
hell
there's
we've had our issues, but
that
even
was a
when we've
nice
had
gesture.
some issues, I mean, I put that aside, and I've always given him the door open for Supernova events, because I know their history and what Shondell, you know, means to him. So no matter what happens between me and Law, and you know,
And he spoke about
he
to
knows
his
that
credit, he spoke about that here. He said, I've had my differences with Anthony Arias, but we put them aside
he
to
will
honor
always have a
Shondell.
spot
Yep.
on the Supernova, regardless if he's in the
Yep.
Nexus.
Which was a very kind gesture. And I think in many ways, he and I have the same belief in that because I've always said for the longest time that the concept of the Nexus I have strongly supported from almost day one. So I think he and I have had this conversation on and off the air. So thank you for that. You want to follow Mr. Arias? First of all, that's his Instagram page. Let's make sure we support it. Before I do want to give him the certificate, I want to present him 2 certificates here in a few minutes, but that's his Instagram page. So if you want to hit him up, that's his Instagram. Let's get those Instagram numbers up here for him. Let's get to some more things here. I got more comments. Darkron says because of him why these titles exist. Well, that may or may not be true. I don't know that to be definitively so, but I always love Darkron, despite what Judas has said about him, and despite what those guys in
I
Illinois
mean,
have
hell,
said.
like I've had this like BYWN title like idea for like quite a while. It's
Mhm.
just one, I mean, money. Shit, titles don't grow off trees. I mean, it costs shit to make titles,
I
and
understand.
but
I own 1/3 of the new PWF, which used to be Atomic Titans company, so I'm
shit like the
understanding of it. Yep.
FBW title, I bought that custom one for 150. Shit, the titles behind me I've made for like close to like all the materials $100. I mean, luckily I got this beauty for free. Like, I mean,
Well,
I'm not
free
gonna
is
even
always good,
shy
right?
around the bush. SGW gladly donated this to me.
Well, I'm glad with that. But first of all, if you want to follow FBW, that's their YouTube channel. Let's get them to 1,000 subs. They're
Please,
almost there. They're at
please. I just
885.
need
So if you're
1K.
here right now, you see
I'll be a
Anthony.
prostitute for 1K.
I know you're
Please.
seeing Anthony this time live. Hit the sub button for him. He's almost at 900 subscribers first. So let's get him to 900. He's almost there. Hit the sub button for him. He's at 885. So if you're here, there's a bunch of you here right now. Go hit that sub button. I want to see 1, 2, 3 subscriptions added to FBW's YouTube page. Let's support those. Let's support us. We're about all wrestling matters here. So I really want you right now. Go hit that sub button, FBW Backyard Wrestling. I know you see me here every time, but you got to go hit that sub button. Even if you just hit the sub button, it really does make a difference. This is what these companies, it gives them a chance to really, it helps with algorithms, it helps with promoting, notifications. So let's support those that support us. Sean Jovi says he wouldn't mind doing trampoline wrestling one more time because he wants to trample those boys in Illinois, especially if what they've said the last 2 days. Yeah, Hiroshima messaged me. He actually messaged me, and we were going to figure it out, but Jake, you'll probably chuckle. Gabe Sayers is here Thursday, and I can't get him on here Thursday, but probably the following week. That's the plan, because I have Joe Starr, who I'm really excited for, Joe Starr. But I think he's talking about those boys. Hello to Mr. Joshua Allen, who, by the way, my very dear friend in TBW, Mr. Allen is in the Hall of Fame. TBW is in the Hall of Fame. And Mr. Allen, Atomic Titan is coming back here September 11th. Boy, that'll be interesting, right? Atomic Titan's back on Sportswire, a platform he helped build. You know, there are certain stars in Sportswire history that people are used to, whether it's Omen, whether it's Soldier, James Taylor, Anthony Steele, Justin Parsley, Atomic Titan, Joshua Allen.
Hey man, real quick, shout out to Josh Allen. He was actually he was a part of FBW's first collab, or a little attempt to collab. Back in 2020? Yeah, it was 2020. Me and no, it wasn't 2020. It was 2019, the end of 2019.
Yeah, I think that's when I recall.
Me and Alan had a little like promo battle, interpromotional warfare. It ended horribly because of some little some idiots behind the scenes over there in TBW. But
you know,
that was FBW's first time branching out. So shout out to Josh. I've known him for a couple of years.
Well, love Josh, and he has been an institution on this platform the last 2 years. Obviously, Jack Delta's an institution.
Hey, and real quick,
yes.
I want to put that off. I am 1-0 against Josh Allen because he didn't show up for the match. So I won via forfeit. So
wow, I guess you're doing the.
So Eric I'm 1-0 against Josh Allen, and I hope he lives with that to this day.
Well, that was like the Eric Bischoff, Vince McMahon, one of the WCW. I think it was.
I don't care. He signed the contract for the match. He didn't show up. He forfeit. I won via forfeit. That is a win.
We'll have to. Well, I'm sure Mr. Allen will remember that really well. We should do a censorship beer when we mention. Yeah, I think that's the bleep. There you go. Thank you, somebody. I don't even want to go there and mention the guy's name. Tom, also, I'm Anthony's friend. I've helped him with FBW. Yes, I did see that in the Discord group. Thank you so much for your support, and thank you for all that you do here for us here on the platform. Yeah. Actually, I'm subscribed to Gabe's Patreon page now, like yours, actually. So, Gabe, I think, Gabe is contractually obligated to come back to Sportswire now because I'm now a subscriber to the TF Crew Patreon page. I almost feel like it's in Gabe's contract. I think because he owes me a video. He owes me a thank you video. So I think instead of the thank you video, he could just come on to Sportswire. Gabe Sayers is a very prominent man. He's been on GTS. He's wrestled Grimm. He's wrestled in UWF, TF Crew, NEW. He's also wrestled in Resurrection Wrestling, James Taylor, Anthony Steele, Atomic Titan's back. Oh, he's got a lot to say, Atomic Titan. I'm surprised too, but he's coming back. Our former Hardcore King. Yeah, rest in peace to the Hardcore King. Don't remind me. Heard yesterday. Yeah, we spoke about it, Mr. Titan and I. The big dog. I love when he's a big dog. Here we go again. Never going to.
Yeah.
All right, so we got all that off the screen, and also thank you to everybody here for tuning in. I appreciate it. I think it's a good time now. Let me present to you, first of all, the certificate. I have two of them for it because I want to transition into the next part of the show. One more time, let me put your Instagram page up before I get to the certificate itself. I have it now right here. Let me see. Now I should have it. Let's see where we have. Boom, boom, boom. Nope, that's the wrong one. Let me first put up the B. Let's go first with the BYW certificate, unless I have it right here in front of me. Let's see. There we go. Now I should have it. Okay. Nick, I don't know why I'm not having it here. Now it should come up there. Now I'm going to save it. Gotcha. This will work. Okay. Now let's go. Let's go with the boom boom. This should come up here. Share. Actually, you know what? I can do it right now. I just realized it. There we go. Let me share the screen. I think I totally missed it. But congratulations, my friend. There it is. There. Thanks to the magic of technology. You got it right there. You're the 87th member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. I realized I said 84, but it is 87 because I just forgot to count. But we are at 87, and congratulations, my friend.
Wild.
Very, very happy to have you here in the Hall of Fame, and very happy to have you alongside a lot of other Hall of Famers. Joshua Allen, Jake Dvorak, by the way, who's won the most championships of any Sportswire Radio Hall of Famer. Just saying, by the way, Jake Dvorak has won the most titles of any Hall of Famer. And if I get 1,000 subscribers, I'll eventually get an NEW wrestling tattoo, and I'm eventually going to get there. I'm going to eventually get there. I hope to get to 1,000. I think I'll get to 1,000. My birthday is October 7th, and I think I'm on pace to almost get 1,000 by my birthday. But in the meantime, enough about me. This is your certificate. Congratulations.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Yep.
I'm actually going to frame it right over here.
I appreciate that.
Underneath my kids' little schoolwork.
Yep, I appreciate that. Jake, I know Jake, I think, has framed it. I think Ace Reed framed his. Justin Parsley used his as a storyline. Sean Jovi's framed all of it. I think Anthony Steele framed his. So a lot of guys frame them.
Yep. I mean, shit, this is legit. I mean,
I don't see why anybody would I want to say one thing on the Hall of Fame. People may or may not remember this. I actually have a guy in the Hall of Fame who played in the NCAA college basketball Final Four. This is not a Hall of Fame that's just for backyard wrestling. I have a guy that covered the New York Mets in the minor league system. He's an accredited member of the media. He's in my Hall of Fame. I have a guy who's the head coach of the United States men's amputee soccer team. That's like the United States of America. Yeah, I mean, I have it's not just wrestling. I have podcasters. I have, a lot of people that are in the Hall of Fame from different backgrounds. Is 80% wrestlers probably now at this point, just because that's what Sportswire has really become. But I do have a lot of different people in the Hall of Fame that aren't just wrestlers. So, I mean, I think that, to me, the Hall of Fame was really solidified when Danny Burns, who played in the Final Four 40 years ago, was put in the Hall of Fame. And he wanted to be in the Hall of Fame, by the way. He wanted to be in it. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah, and I think that's why this really means so much to me, and I really appreciate it because, like you said, those people are in it. We got some really mainstays, in the backyard community in this.
Joshua Allen's in it. Yep, Josh is in it.
For my name to be up there.
Law's in it.
For my name to be up there really just shows that I've actually done something and people out there appreciate what I've done and and shit, man. That's dope, man. I'm lost for words because yeah, sure, there was an Aries for Hoff hashtag going on. But shit, this means more because I'm not inducting myself into my own brand's Hall of Fame. This is a legit Hall of Fame. So
yeah, no, really, I have a website for this, sportswireradio.org. We have an internet radio station. So if you'd like to have your podcast played, we take care of those things. And we have podcasters on. We just had on the radio before a guy, Neil Villapiano, do a tribute to, I'm going to mention it for a second before I get to the next certificate. Just sad news in the world. A hockey player, Johnny Gaudreau, who's a local guy here in the area from New Jersey, died in a terrible car accident. I mean, oh my goodness, one of the worst, most horrific deaths I've ever heard in my life. And he unfortunately passed away at the age of 31 alongside his brother. And he did a tribute, and it's on the radio as we speak, and just, absolutely horrific. Please say, your thoughts and prayers to your kids, your family, and just really terrible news there. And we did a tribute on that. And I'll mention it tonight. I'm on the air at 10 o'clock tonight. We're going to talk SmackDown, going to talk AEW. So if you'd like to join, I might even take calls tonight on the air. I used to take calls on Sportswire, and I worked for 7 months on a radio show. I was on a show here in Brooklyn on a radio station. I'm actually friends. You want to talk about power? A personal friend of mine owns the largest Russian radio station in the United States of America. Personal
Really?
friend of mine. Yep. Gregory Davidson. If you do a Google search on Gregory Davidson, he is just he is considered to be he was once upon a time the kingmaker of New York City politics. I mean, he's very influential, and he's a personal friend. He's interviewed me, so I was on his station for 7 months. So
Wow.
he's like, yes, he tells me all the time I should be on Russian radio, but I'm like, I don't speak Russian, but I don't speak Russian. Could somebody help me translate? Do we have any people in the chat who can translate Russian? Maybe that's my angle to quit Sportswire. I'm gonna
Yeah, we
go.
got to get some Russian backyard wrestling in Texas.
Well, I actually was interviewed about this about a year and a half ago, and Russia, they don't really. They're like 20 years behind in wrestling. They're still like learning about Goldberg
Really?
versus Hulk. Yeah, that's not. They're not into it a lot, really. Russia. Notice WWE really hasn't gone to Russia because it's just not. They're not into it really. That's
I
the one
mean,
of
I
the
mean, talking about abroad,
yeah,
like
yeah, and I
companies and
was
stuff.
on Russian radio. That's real quick. That's Gregory Davidson, who's my personal friend of mine. He put me on the radio. Yes,
But
correct.
yeah,
Go
no,
ahead.
talking about interbroad, wrestling. I mentioned this on the last episode I was on about people from Mexico hitting me up about tips.
Yes,
They actually hit me up today before the interview, and yeah, no, they're still training and getting everything ready to launch their backyard fed up in Mexico.
absolutely. Listen, Mexico was why not? I mean, I'm friends with a lot of California guys in Mexico. Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I did. I gave DKW a shout out. Yes, I did. I love DK. I love DKW, by the way, despite what Judas has said about DKW. DKW, by the way, I want to make one announcement before I give you the sticker certificate. Is that DKW, when they hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm inducting them in the Sports by Radio Hall of Fame. They're official company. They're almost at 1,000 subscribers. So if you're out there right now, I'd like you, before I transition, to hit that sub button for our friends at DKW, because DKW have been a mainstay on this platform, and I can't thank DKW enough for all that they've done for Sportswire Radio. I can't thank them enough for everything that they've done in just the community and just everything else. So I want to give them a little bone, because I know that Darkron here is here, despite what Judas and those guys in Illinois may say. Go hit the sub button for our friends in DKW. They're at 908 subscribers. You guys are neck and neck. No competition though, but they're at 908. You're
Man,
at 880
I want to
something.
hit 1K so bad.
I got to be honest. I have been thinking about 1,000 subscribers since I hit 500. That was about 7 months ago now. I hit 500 7 months ago, and that was my 5-year anniversary doing podcasting. I hit 500.
Like 1K was always like a far dream for me,
And
but
Ace
like now
Reed just
being
hit
so
1,000,
close,
by the way.
yeah,
Ace
like
Reed,
being
I
so
gave him. Yep.
close, like
Mhm.
being so close to 1,000, it's really like coming to like reality, and like I'm like really thinking about like, man, like
No, it is. It's a big
1,000
deal.
people, like
It's a big deal.
wow,
I'm working on Facebook. I'm almost at 1,000 followers. I'm at 2,500 almost on my personal, but I'm really think I can't enough say that how much that'll mean. Not really to me so much, but I think to the community, that we have a platform that got to 1,000. I think it's just really, a thing there. But I want to say hello also before to my buddy, Mr. D Savage, who's going to be here tomorrow. Mr. Savage has certainly had a lot to say about, well, some different things, and he's going to say a lot about that. But before I do anything else, it's time to give you this certificate, because on this date, August the 30th, 2024,
wow,
I have now officially declared this Backyard Wrestling Nexus Day here on Sportswire Radio. So,
really,
yep, it's Backyard
that's
Wrestling.
dope.
So it's all Sportswire platforms, including YouTube, that's Twitch, that's LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, that's Facebook, that's on Instagram, that's on Tumblr. I have a Tumblr account, sportswireradio.org, and it is now Backyard Wrestling Nexus Day.
That's
Congratulations there.
fucking dope. That's
So
dope.
and I'll give you that certificate as well, so you can, have that and enjoy. And I definitely look
I'll frame
forward.
that up too. That I'm
Yep,
I'm
I
gonna
want to
save
give
that
you
date.
two. Wanted to give you two for the price of one. No charge needed, but definitely Craven says congratulations. Obviously, Craven Rage says congratulations, although he's obviously, maybe according to those in Illinois, is counting the days to the end of his company. But yes, we love our friends in DKW. They've worked with WCE and they've worked with this platform. Really institutions. Institutions on Sportswire have been Darkron, Matthew Forsaken, Omen Black, Soldier GP, Craven Rage, Sean Jovi,
You know,
Nicholas Princeton. Yep.
man, now thinking about it, like now actually having like a backyard wrestling day. What if like next year we did like a collab show on the 30th? Like whatever happens, we make sure a collab show airs on August 30th, Backyard Wrestling Nexus Day. Yo, that'll be
That's
actually
up to
really
you
dope.
guys now to put that on. I mean, I wouldn't,
I mean,
have a
shit. I
problem.
mean, like, hell, getting like a whole day like dedicated to the backyard wrestling. I mean, we gotta make it, like mean something. Shit.
I think it does mean something. We have a
Yeah, that's
certificate.
dope, man. That's
I
dope.
think it always means something. I think people know that they come here and they get represented. We listen, like I said, Jack Delta's a staple. He's been here a lot. Aaron Blaze, Jake Dvorak, James Taylor's always here. Anthony Steele's coming back. Justin Parsley's here all the time. Chris Jones of XCW is coming back. I mean, CJ Black's been here many times. Jason Storm's been here. A lot of people have been here on Sports, but we appreciate everybody. We're because people know it's sort of half character, half not character, if that makes sense. ADT, Jackson Law. I mean, a lot of people that come here and they know that, they have a good time. They enjoy themselves. Jimmy Controversy's been here many times. Gabe Sayers. We've got a lot of great people that have been here. D Savage is back in the house. We had an independent guy who basically looks like he's trying to do like a gimmick with a hammer. He's got like a plastic hammer. His name is Max Strong. I won't even bore you with that, but that's a different conversation. We have a DJ even here on Sports Bar. He comes on and the DJing might be more interesting than his interview skills, but we still love him
Oh
anyway.
man.
It's all good. No, it's Andrew Loveless. We love Andrew dearly. We have Atomic Titans always here. Alan Michaels, my buddy Alan Michaels is here Friday today, 10 o'clock Eastern time. He's here every Friday. He's always got something to say. But let me take this off the screen and let me put up this here one more time. Let me see if I got the right one here coming up. Nope, wrong one. That's okay. I got the new one. We put it up here. Tom Bryce, I have to say, WC is not going to go down. We're going to kick some STBW butt. They will live on a prayer. We will rise above. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so I'm going to take this off the screen for now because I want to talk about some current events. I want to put up your last match on the screen. I want to take this off. Thank you, Craven, for that. Let's come back now for the next
bad boy
30
back
minutes
up
of the
into
show.
the view.
Let's obviously come back here. Let's go to some current events for a little while here for the remainder of the show. And let's talk about what's going on in Florida backyard wrestling. Let's talk about the match. I want to put it up. I have it right now on the screen. Those can get a chance to watch you. It's going to be here we go. Let's go fast forward a little bit. And it's going to be you and Mr. Luke Cannon. So talk about what we see here for the audience. Obviously, he calls you out. You're on the ladder. For those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, what are we about to see here? Because you guys had a battle.
Yeah. So, when I won the United States Championship, I took this as a token, an opportunity to really validate why I am still the saint of backyard wrestling and why I can still call myself the saint of backyard wrestling. And people can view this title however they want. It's a mid card title, it's a secondary title, it's not the
Talked
main
about that here
focus. So
last time you were here. Yep.
yeah, but it's a title and it's still an image and of recognition. I'm a champion, so I decided to kind of feed back into my beginnings and really open up a little open challenge for the event, which is right here, FBW Unforgiven, because the first time I won a secondary title, it was the T Division title, and I won that title after holding down the FBW title for years in the early days of FBW. And one of the first things that I immediately did when I won that T Division title was I opened up a ALM versus All World Tour. ALM being my previous name that I had before I was Anthony Aries, but I opened up a me versus All World Tour because I wanted to prove that even though I'm not the main champ, the world champ, in the main event per se, Um, I'm still one of the best to ever do it in backyard wrestling and in the state of Florida. So Luke Cannon stepped up, and he calls himself the Bone Collector, and he hasn't really got his footing down in backyard wrestling. And I mean, hell, like we're seeing it now. He put up a fight, and he had his little history with Sam Reeves, and Sam Reeves, decided to pay off the crowd that night and really try to get into my mind. But hey, behind the scenes, on screen, I've been through a lot of battles and wars in FBW. Him doing, the little mind games didn't work. And ultimately, Luke Cannon failed, and I am still your United States champion. But Luke Cannon wanted to align himself with Violence Enterprise and go down that route. So I'm I'm confident I'll see Luke Cannon in the ring again.
Were you
But if he wants,
surprised at what Luke did later on in the show where he made the decision to go with Sam Reeves and Violent Enterprise? Were you surprised about that?
no.
Why?
Um, Luke Cannon and Sam Reeves go way back. They go way back in SGW. They go way back in backyard wrestling. Sam Reeves was actually the man who got Luke Cannon and trained Luke Cannon. So when I saw Sam Reeves there, I was already on my edge, and that's why ultimately the end games did not work. You know, I'm not shocked. I'm disappointed because his past relations with Sam Reeves has not ended with him, and I don't know what makes him think that he's gonna succeed here in FBW with Sam Reeves, but I'm not shocked. I'm disappointed. Because being the same, I just want the best out of everybody in backyard wrestling. But he chose the wrong route, and it's not my problem anymore. And he's gonna have to face the consequences, as far as I'm
Well,
concerned and care about.
but how are you gonna? You got a lot of people firing shots at you now. All of a sudden, you got obviously the situation now with what happens with Luke Cannon in the future, and you've got certainly Sam Reeves. You and Sam Reeves are going to be feuding until the end of time. We know that. And then, there's somebody else that's obviously come into play and wants the championship that, you wanted to complete your career really. And I'm sure I'll get to him in a few minutes, but are you concerned about now that the shots and the firing shots now are they're all going toward you now?
Look, man, I know that I have a big target on my back, and I know that,
Big target now, big
yeah,
target.
um, hell, I call myself the Saint. I call myself the Ace of Florida. I know I have a big target on my back. I've had a big target on my back for many years in FBW. Um, Sometimes I get beaten down, but I know how to recover. Um, I'm ready for whoever wants to step up for this United States title. Right now, it's looking like Damian Prime. Am I worried about that? No, because the last time me and Damian stepped in a ring, I retired him, and I proved why he's not some sort of prophecy. He's not some sort of prodigy. So that checks him off the list. I've beaten Sam Reeves. Big B, he has my number, but right now he's not looking too worried about this United States
No,
title.
he's not focused on the US title right now.
But
Big B is definitely not focused on the US title.
you know, ultimately, if he wants to come back, I got Chris Dynamite back. I got my brother in arms back.
But the
Um,
numbers game aren't with you though right now.
so far, even though Chris Dynamite was at Unforgiven, I did not meet up with him yet, and we have not talked too much to formulate a game plan. But I know, I look, man, I've been through battles alone, and all I know is, regardless if I'm in a battle myself, if I'm not in a battle by myself, and I have somebody, all I know is I got a curse. It hurts people, and at the end of the day, when you feel the curse of Aries, you're not coming out the other side
But
unscathed.
they're also, you brought up SGW, and that's a sore subject. And when you think about guys like Luke Cannon and Damian Prime, the man that wants that US championship from you, they definitely hold a grudge. They've got an
You
axe
know,
to grind.
and look, I know that loss that Damian Prime took at Champions Chaos last year, and I retired Damian Prime. I know that's been eating up, and I know that's been eating Damian Prime up. And as far as I'm concerned, at this point, he's deserved to lose and get retired by my hands. Look, when I was the saint of backyard wrestling, I went around preaching that I want the best out of backyard wrestling. That I think backyard wrestling is a sacred sport.
Yes,
That was my mission as the
I agree.
Messiah, and it still is as the Saint. Damian Prime wants to walk around the community, walk around FBW, walk around SUW, taking shit as a joke.
He's
Why
got
does
his
he?
own show. He's
Why does
using
he
his pulpit,
belong
though.
in my spotlight or anywhere near my spotlight? Look, I've given my life, my blood, my sweat, my tears, my valuable, precious time on this planet Earth to backyard wrestling, trying to make
Yes.
backyard wrestling great. He wants to come up in here, not act like a wrestler, not act too professional, not take things too seriously. And he wants to come into my game and try to take my living from me? No.
Yeah, that's what he wants to do. I mean, that's what's happening all over right now in the backyard circuit. I mean,
So if
we
I have to
saw.
step in the ring with Damian Prime again,
Yes,
the odds are he's going to lose and he's going to end up leaving FBW.
but
He can
he's
saddle
got
himself
he.
with all of these stupid catchphrases. He wants to call
Mhm.
himself a prodigy, a prophecy. All I'm concerned is all he's made up is make believe bullshit. And he's ultimately the prophecy of failure. Because when the lights shined the brightest, when the pressure was the heaviest, I retired him.
But
I
he's coming
conquered
now at a different
SGW.
point. He's different. It's different now because he's
What's
got
different
nothing to
about
lose.
Damian Prime?
He's got nothing to lose, and now he's in your
What did he
backyard.
have to lose at SGW Champions Chaos?
I would say so. I would say the point to that
Nothing
is
either, because he doesn't take himself seriously, so he had nothing valuable then
well,
either.
there's a term to that called complacency. Sometimes when you're in your own home, you get complacent. He got complacent. Now he's no longer complacent. He's come in here. We saw his return a few months ago here, and
Oh,
he
yeah. Let's talk about the Glory Rumble. What happened at the Glory Rumble? I
didn't get the
pinned him
job. Well,
pretty quickly.
rumbles are different though than titles when they're on the line. Sometimes, listen, there are guys in title matches, especially now, not in their home venue. He's not in. He's not in your home.
Look,
He's in
Tom,
his.
I really respect you, but fighting for Damian Prime is not your
Oh,
battle
I'm
that
not
you should be
fighting for
making.
Damian Prime. I'm just saying
Damian
objectively,
Prime, for
there's his.
all that anybody is concerned about, is gonna lose. I'm not too worried.
You should be worried though because that's
Instead of training, preparing, he wants to cut these little stupid promos. Wait, my bad, my bad. He wants to do these little staying frosty shows, making jokes instead of actually preparing for one
You
of the
mentioned
biggest
phone,
matches.
camera. He took the shirt off. Yeah, I mean,
He's going to lose.
but you
You
know
don't
what though? But I
you
see
don't
this.
see me doing that bullshit. You don't see me making jokes and worrying about, man, what funny post can I post about today on Instagram about Damian Prime? No.
But you see what he's doing though. See what he's doing though is he's trying to get under your skin.
And you
He's
want to know
taking a
what?
different tactic. Yeah, go ahead, jump in.
Look, he's not getting under my skin. And even
No,
if he is, I know that I know how to control my emotions. Look, I am the saint of backyard wrestling, but it's no secret, and I'll say here again, I've done very despicable things in my career. At one point, I was an evil heart who really hurt people. I've injured and taken out my own fiance, and
well,
really.
a lot of people would talk about that.
So if
Sure,
he thinks that he can get under my skin and get the emotional battle victory over me, no. See, this is what I'm talking about. He's saddling himself with stupid memes, stupid catchphrases. He's playing make believe when I'm playing reality. And guess what? You always wake up from dreams, right?
but
Reality always
you
wins.
sound overconfident. You know that was a topic a few days ago.
Because I
When
retired him. He wouldn't be back if it wasn't for me who invited him in the first place. I gave him a silver, not even, I gave him a fucking golden spoon and fed him an opportunity to come back to FBW. I invited him to come to FBW and come in the Glory Rumble. That was me. That wasn't because Damian Prime fucking worked his ass off. No. That's because I felt bad for him. And now
I
he
see
wants
this
to take
story,
that
though, but I
opportunity,
see
shove
this
it up my
story
ass.
all
No.
the time. I see this story here with Anthony Aries, the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. If you're out there, please follow our friends at Florida Backyard Wrestling. They are closing in on 1,000 subscribers. Let's support those that support us. And we're here on Sportswire Radio's YouTube channel. Hit the sub button for us and also Sportswire Radio. But no, I see this story all the time. Guys come on here and they've wrestled people and beat them 3, 4 different times. I saw this story with RJS not too long ago when he was here. I see this story all the time. Guys call out Craven Rage. I see the back and forths with everybody that comes on this platform. But you got to be careful in the fact that, yeah, you've beat him time after time. But to me, that doesn't mean in sports, they say the hardest thing is to beat somebody over and over and over again. It happened a couple years ago. If you're a football fan, the 49ers and Rams had played
Yeah,
3 times
but
this
with
season.
that
But
is
yes, go ahead.
the other party has to have talent. Am I right? The other party has to be a
But he's got
viable threat.
talent. He's listen, he's got plenty of talent.
Oh,
He's
no,
clearly
you know what? You're right. You're right. He has talent at making jokes, and that's about it. He's
but those
nothing more. He's
the jokes
nothing
are
more
gonna
than
end.
a wannabe fucking pipe dream.
Well,
Like I said,
everybody wants to be something.
I'm in reality.
Well, I'm
Damian
with
Prime is
you.
in
I'm with
fantasy.
you. But everybody wants to be something. But what he wants to be, most importantly, is he wants to be the United States champion.
Look,
That's what he wants to
and
be.
if he wants to beat me and become some sort of prophecy, he's gonna have to wake up. And hell, there, we live in a free world, right? Free will. He has the chance, the will to actually wake up and become serious. And if that's the case, and he beats me at Battle Yard, and he wakes up and becomes United States champion, and he wakes up from this stupid bullshit reality he's living in, then I respect that, and I'll respect him and shake his hand in the middle of the ring at Battle Yard.
If he
But
beats you and wins the U.S. title, you would shake his hand.
yes.
But you're
Because
very
ultimately, if he wakes up and he gets out of this fantasy world crap, he's
right.
then evolving and becoming an asset to the backyard wrestling community that I care about.
Are
So I
you
would
saying
say
that he was not an asset to the backyard
no,
wrestling circuit?
not at
And why?
all.
Why do you say that?
What has he contributed? Funny jokes. Let me look on my phone real quick. Oh wow, Damian, ha ha ha. Okay, and they forget about him. That's all Damian Prime has ever amounted to.
But
Little
this is
jokes. Hey, let me scroll on my Instagram. Oh wow, Damian Prime just did a joke. Ha ha. Okay, let me forget about him. He doesn't do anything relevant because he doesn't try. He has
well,
he doesn't take anything serious. I'm out here. I worked out today. I did some business work.
well,
What am
how
I
do
going to
you
do
know?
next with
How could you say though that he hasn't done anything outside of his Instagram post? He could certainly have done things. Do you know what he does in his day in and day life? Do you know what he does in his personal life?
you know, I don't need to
Why?
because you know, he calls himself a prodigy, right? He claims that this is the real him. He's ready, but yet no matter like if he realistically was ready to step up, why hasn't he gotten serious? Because he should know
He may
because
be
we
starting
we
that
saw it
now.
at Unforgiven. Mind games don't work with the Saint of backyard wrestling, and they never have.
In his mind,
Sam Reeves, the ultimate manipulator, tried getting under my skin,
but he's
getting in my
here
head.
right now, and he says that I'm onto something. In his mind, he's saying that, yeah, that's what his intentions are. He's telling you right now his intentions.
I give Damien a little credit. He really fights for the fantasy that he lives in. But you ultimately wake up from dreams.
But
And
don't you, if you dream hard enough, that the fantasies can come a reality?
No.
Why? Most people would say that if you dream and you dream it and envision it that much, you'll get to where you want to be. And maybe in this case, he's literally got a shirt. He put a shirt on that says
Look,
Damian Prime for U.S. champ.
I retired him. He came back. I eliminated him from the Rumble. He went on to the biggest show of FBW, WrestleBash 8.
Yeah, this is the
The
Swift.
lights shining brighter. And what did he do? He put on a stupid comedy match.
It
Look,
sounds like you may be this, but the Saint is. You don't sound so saint-like when you're describing him.
because I hate when people tarnish what I think is sacred, and that is backyard wrestling. Backyard wrestling is my life and will be my life.
Are you saying that he has tarnished the legacy
Yes,
of what you have?
100%.
That's a
Because
big.
people like him making jokes, not taking shit serious. So when people look out from the outside onto our community, our product, they see just a jokester. They don't see passion, dedication, legitness. They see bullcrap. And that is all Damian Prime's fault. And I see Damian Prime as a virus that I need to cleanse from FBW.
That's a strong statement. Virus that you need to cleanse. That's a strong
Honestly,
statement.
I would be content retiring him again at Battle Yard.
So you want to retire him again?
Honestly, yeah, he quite honestly deserves it.
That's a strong statement to say somebody deserves to retire. That's a strong statement there, Anthony. From a man that's supposed to be about giving
Look,
opportunity.
backyard wrestling is already thought
You
of
were open
as a joke.
collaborator. You were the man of collaborations, and you're telling him he needs to retire
Look,
again?
man. Look, Tom, I'm not gonna lie. You got me on the show. We were having a good time with the Hall of Fame, and then you had to bring up this. You had
I
to bring
know.
up this.
But that's what it is. I mean, that's the current events we're living in. He's the challenger to your title next. I don't know what to say, but
Tom, look, man, look. You say you weren't defending him, but you kind of were. You're trying to fight his case for him.
Well, I have to play both sides of this
Look,
coin.
Tom, but the facts are there. He's a joke. There shouldn't be no giving a chance.
So this is all going to end. So from your vantage point, then this is going to end soon. This is going to end, and we're not going to hear from him again. So he's going to go back to the island of irrelevancy, basically, from what you're telling me.
100%.
So he's just looking for a few more minutes of fame, basically.
Honestly.
Okay. So that's it.
Look, and I don't know why he wants to bring SGW back when I carried that company on my back for an entire year, behind the scenes, on screen, in any sort of way. I carried SGW on my back, and he wants to bring it back when he's the one who let it crumble in the first place. I did all of that work for SGW, and they let it crumble. All because I finished my time there. He couldn't handle running a company. He couldn't handle doing anything.
What do you think of that? I mean, do you feel?
Tom, I honestly, I think it's time we wrap this up. I really do. I think it's I've had my fun. I appreciate you having me on Sportswire and stuff, but I think it's time for me to hop off here.
Well, I appreciate you being here. I mean, obviously,
true colors, though. True colors. I'm just stating facts. And you want to know what? Sometime get this man's face off the screen real quick. Get this man's face off. I don't want to see his face no more because it's pissing me off even more. Look, sometimes the truth hurts. That doesn't make me a bad guy just because I'm stating the truth. The truth is truth. The truth is unbiased.
Mm-hmm.
And it hurts sometimes. Just because I think Damian Prime is a joke and scum doesn't mean I'm a bad guy. I'm just stating facts here.
Oh, no. Listen, we just want to let people obviously know.
Look, man, this started off as a good conversation, a good talk. But look, I think it's time for me to hop off here, and I think it's time for me to.
Boy, feeling the pressure there. I hope, Anthony, I really hope that, you come back onto Sportswire. I really hope that, we see more of you here, and I just wish for the best. I mean, obviously, congratulations again. But before I let you go, I would like people to hit the sub button for the Backyard Wrestling Nexus as well. I mean, we have obviously Supernova 3 that's up there. But yeah, I mean, we talk about this all the time in sports. I know obviously you've obviously had enough, but guys sometimes they can't handle the pressure. And I don't know if that's the case here, but that's what Sam Reeves and Damian Prime. Again, I'm not defending them. I
could have handled Big B, but Big B was more real than Damian Prime ever was.
So basically, you're not obviously choking under pressure. You're a cool hand, Luke. Cool is the other side of the pillow. And these guys are just figments of our imaginations. And you got this. There's nothing more to talk about with them. Okay, I got that. Obviously, Anthony Aries is scheduled to square off with Damian Prime. That'll be for the United States Championship, the FBW World title. And, I don't know if Chris Dynamite should have been the Saint. I don't know if that's a
Look,
fair statement at all, but I see obviously, Anthony, it's time to
yeah,
obviously
no,
let you go. Appreciate you. Appreciate you for being here. Congratulations again on being the newest member of the Sports by Radio Hall of Fame. It is still BYWN Day on Sportswire. We appreciate that. I don't know if this is feeding into what some would say in the backyard wrestling community about Anthony Arias. Is Instagram reliving here on Sportswire? Is it seems like the pressure, it's not even trampoline versus ring. It's now guys within their own company. I don't know what to make of it. This isn't Jake Dvorak. This isn't D Savage talking to Anthony Arias about his ring skills. This isn't guys that used to be in the Nexus talking about Anthony Arias. We're now seeing it in his own company within, ladies and gentlemen. We're seeing Damian Prime, Sam Reeves, and maybe it's Luke Cannon from the background. They're saying Anthony Arias, no, we see it. It's true. Anthony Arias, he's going to fold under pressure. He doesn't have it. He's not the Saint. He really is what they say he is on Instagram. We're going to put him away here. I thank you for your time, Anthony.
Do you think I'm the bad guy with all my statements
No,
I've made about Damian Prime?
I'm just being objective. I'm just telling you from what they're saying. I'm presenting a story. There's no question that you've done a lot for this circuit. There is no question you are the FBW US champion for a reason. There is no reason not to think that you can beat
How
Damian.
about this? I know you've defended Damian Prime regardless if you want to deny it or not, but how about this? If I beat Damian Prime at Battle Yard, I want another Hall of Fame induction. And on top of that, I want the day that I defeat Damian Prime, I want that to be acknowledged on Sportwire Radio for the whole community.
Sportswire. A Sportwire. There's actually a Sportwire out there.
All right, listen, Tom. You're not helping your case right now.
Well, I don't
after I defeat Damian Prime,
I don't think you'd want to, Mr.
have
Arias.
me back on, and let's have
I'll tell you what, Mr.
an
Arias.
acknowledgement
Mr.
of
Arias,
an Anthony Aries day.
I'm going to tell you what, Mr. Arias. I have the microphone now, Mr. Arias. I appreciate you coming on here, and I will tell you, you don't want to go down that road, but what I will tell you is that I do want to go down the road of watching you and Damian Prime, and I am very much looking forward to watching that on the FBW YouTube page, and I'm very much encouraging people to follow Florida Backyard Wrestling because they're almost at 1,000 subs, 900 subs. Let's support those that support us. I don't necessarily think I'm defending Mr. Prime or saying Mr. Arias is going to lose, but it's presenting. It's called
presenting. I see through lies. I see through lies.
Well, I don't think you want to go down that road, Mr. Arias, considering you have been getting a lot of support. But I thank you very much for your time. I definitely look forward to watching the match. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively, literally, where all wrestling matters. If you are on Sportswire Radio, I'll be back here 10 o'clock Eastern time. I'll be talking about WWE, Bash at Berlin coming up here. I'll be talking about everything else in between and more. And also, please, one more time, follow our friends at FBW. I see you got 2 new subscribers since we started the interview. So let's make sure we get a few more
defeat
afterwards.
Damian Prime and cleanse our community once again.
Well, I don't know about cleansing communities. What I can say is that that's a statement that I'll leave at that. But what I will say is that we've turned over a new leaf on Sportswire, and we look forward to more coverage ahead. I also want to thank the Nexus. I'm looking forward to having more Nexus coverage ahead. Obviously, I appreciate the Nexus and all the things that they've done. And I am very much happy to be a part of that, as well as all things related to Sportswire Radio's coverage in the backyard and underground wrestling circuit. But until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the number one global radio station, Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters. And I'll be back here at 10 o'clock Eastern time. So until then, thank you so much, everybody, for your support. And go out there and follow FBW, Nexus, and all things Anthony.